Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for the Prayerful Pause of the Pastor, the last day of our series that answers, well, so now what? We went through the resurrection. We did all this work on ourselves during Lent leading up to it. Maybe you didn't and you're catching up. But at any rate, we have been given this time, sort of outside of time, in response to the resurrection, a time of transformation, a time when we are promised and given new life, new hope, new possibilities. And how do we do that? We can talk about it in terms of the first century church and how they did it, how they developed their identity without Jesus. We can talk about it in terms of our own growth and maturation, our own spirituality. But we can also talk about it in terms of our faith communities or other groups that we belong to. And so far this week, we have looked at personal identity and how we develop it. That was Monday. Tuesday, we talked about how we see things through certain lenses, and those values shape how we see the world and how the world sees us. And then we went to looking at how our identity changes over time, how we used to maybe be known for one thing, but now we might be known as something different, both personally and collectively. And then yesterday we talked about how size of groups matters when it comes to how those groups interact, how they do ministry, how they relate to their members, how members relate to each other. And I was encouraging you to take a look at what your comfort level is and where you would fit in best, and what changes might we have to make then for how we get along in those different groups. Today I kind of want to wrap all of this up. Not that any of this is done. My guess is that these discussions will probably be ongoing for several weeks or months, because these are big deals. But I wanted to kind of put everything out there all at once because I think they're intertwined. I don't think they're discrete at all. They seem to, one flows into the other, and one affects something else. What you heard on Monday might affect Thursday, and Thursday might be Tuesday or Wednesday. And so today I want to talk about the Bluebird Special. And that's that age matters. Where you are in your life matters. If we are going to give respect and honor to our aging process, then it matters. I have so much respect, and I see this both at downtown and at South, so much respect for people who have taken on ministries and led them for years and often decades, and who then reach the point where they say, you know, I need to step away from this and train the next generation, right? I have so much respect for that, because it's like they're going out at the top of their game, but they want to make sure that things are perpetuated and they're honoring themselves. Age matters. Age matters. So I'm going to just be very blunt and say this, that with both churches and all churches that I work with, if you are, let's say, under the age of 50 and you're not taking over the bulk of some activity or some area of your church leadership, your church is probably going to die, because the people 60, 70, 80s, 90s, they can't do it much longer, if at all. And unless you are stepping up right now, you're going to lose. I've seen it with churches that I've worked with, and it breaks my heart, because there are people there, they just felt like they were too busy. They couldn't take time away. I understand, believe me, I'm a single mom. I understand the importance of family life and being there for your kids. But if you can, and it matters to you, try to incorporate your kids into helping you be the next generation of leaders. One way to do this, I just want to point this out, that many churches, at least in this Presbyterian, I don't know about elsewhere, have restructured their programmatic year, the September through June thing with the summer off, rather than asking people to sign up to do things for a year. Will you be a liturgist for the year? Dear God, will you teach second grade Sunday school this year? Nix that idea. I can't say it firmly enough. Restructure things. People the people under 50, they're just not going to want to sign up for long-term things because they've got family, whether it's new grandchildren or new children, depending on their age, or their careers, or just wanting to have fun, or dating, or whatever, fill in the blank. Nobody wants to sign up for that anymore. Gone are the times. That was the church formerly known as. What people want to sign up for now is some sort of concentrated time that's bracketed. There's a beginning, there's an end. And many of the churches around us are doing that by seasonal planning. And each church modifies it a little, but generally we're talking about the seasons of summer, which would go from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Then you have the season of harvest, which would be September through November, when Advent starts. Then the next season is Advent to Lent. So the beginning of Advent, usually the last Sunday in November, to the beginning of Lent, whenever that is in Ash Wednesday in mid-February often. And then Lent to Pentecost. Pentecost usually in May. And after that, then you'd be back into the summer of May through, Memorial Day through Labor Day. And what churches do who operate this way is they pull together a team and you say, oh yeah, all our Christian ed people who are going to teach during the harvest season, September, October, November, we're going to have a meeting. Let's sit down. They'll schedule a 2-hour, sometimes 3, depending on the size of the Sunday school program. Let's have a meeting and map out what are our themes going to be and what are you going to do at this age group and this age group, and you do it for those months and then you're done. You're done, and somebody else has to come and take over your role for the next season. Can you do more than one season? Yes. I encourage you not to do back-to-back seasons if you can help it, but that's just because of burnout. However, the idea is that you have to bring in new people then to train them how to do this. In other areas, that's Christian ed. They also do it around worship leadership. Liturgists, people who are baking communion bread, people who might be assisting with decorating the chancel, if you have a chancel, people who are going to do the communion table decorations for holidays. If you're in the choir, sign up for a specific time. When I was conducting choir director of music, minister of music, I used to invite people, and I know that this happens at South. I don't know if it does at downtown, but come and just sing for Advent and Christmas. A lot of people love that music, but they don't want to do it all year long. Or just come for Lent and Easter, or whatever, fill in the blank. It's very attractive, and it honors our aging process, and it honors our needs, the other parts of our identity, if we're mom or dad or single parent, or I'm single living alone, but I like my alone time, but I want to do stuff with others. It allows people to mix that up a little bit. And it also encourages the younger folks who have to step up, or most churches will fail. But we don't want to overburden the younger guys and gals either. We want to even this out. So this idea of the Bluebird Special, that age matters, is the last of our thoughts about identity. Because in order to do that, first we have to figure out our own identity. What is our, you could be 80 years old and be running around like you're 55 and you're in great shape. That might be pushing it a little, but maybe there are some of you who are. I know plenty of people in their 80s who are running around like they're 70. And I've been told that I have a lot more energy than someone in my late 60s. Yay, I'm glad to hear that. But we have to know what our limitations are so that we know what we can do, what we can't do, and know what our interest is. And then I'm going to bring this back around to Monday. You ready for this? Knowing all of these things that we've talked about informs our identity that we were talking about on Monday. They are interwoven. Our personal and our corporate identities are interwoven because a church is a living organism, and a church has its own life, and its life is made up of its members. If the members aren't healthy, if their relationships aren't healthy, if the members are not self-aware of their own identity and discerning all of these things we've talked about this week, then the church won't be either. The church is only as strong as the people in it and their own health and understanding and self-definition. We have been given, through Easter, through resurrection, a whole new model of how to be. We've been given this model that Jesus was made into who he needed to be for the next part of his journey. He could not be the risen Christ if he were stuck in his same old body that had been killed, right, that died. He had to be transformed in that tomb so that he could emerge in a new way that, according to John, was not recognizable to Mary. The same has to be true for us, my friends. We have to be transformed, and we'll be transformed in ways we can't imagine. We will end up not recognizing ourselves probably or each other, but God recognizes us and God knows us, and God is doing this transformation to make us into who we must be in order to do the work that we are being called to next. So with that, I will leave you. This will be broadcast on a Friday, so there is no prayerful pause over the weekend anymore. We're back to the Monday through Friday routine. I hope you really are able to take in a lot of this. Go back and listen to them more than once if you need to. Take it all in, go back and listen, take some notes, do some journaling, because this is important work that we all must be about over the next few months and maybe even years, as God continues to call us to be the Church of Jesus Christ in the 21st century, what I like to think of as the first century church in the 21st century, because those guys and gals went through a lot of the same stuff that we are. All right. I'm Pastor Deb Swift. Thank you for joining me for this Prayerful Pause with a Pastor. I'm blessed and privileged and humbled to be the pastor of both South and Downtown Presbyterian churches in Rochester, New York. Check us out. Both of those have great websites. Check us out. Come worship with us online, and have a great weekend. God bless. Take care, and bye for now.